Have you ever set out in the early morning, determined to stay strong and active as the years progress, only to pause halfway up a flight of stairs, a curious throb in your chest, a slight flutter you can't quite name? Perhaps you soldiered on, shaking it off as one of those natural signs of aging, never suspecting that some well-meaning exercises might actually be straining your heart rather than nurturing it. If that resonates with you, then stay here with me a moment longer. Because sometimes it's the most popular routines, the very ones we think are helping, that can quietly wear down this precious organ. I once knew a proud grandfather who prided himself on his daily high-intensity workouts. Each morning, he'd shuffle to his exercise mat, determined to keep up with the energy of his younger grandchildren. It wasn't until he collapsed unexpectedly that we discovered the signals he had been ignoring. His heart, it turned out, was fighting an uphill battle every time he forced himself into those grueling intervals. That day I saw in his eyes a heartbreaking mixture of confusion and disappointment. Had his devotion to fitness inadvertently led him astray? He admitted that no one had warned him about adjusting his routine in his later decades, and he wished that someone had guided him differently sooner. Take a moment to breathe and reflect. Have we, in trying to do what we believe is best, inadvertently driven our hearts into distress? It's a sobering thought. But just as the old saying reminds us that knowledge can be a profound healer, I wish to share not only what to avoid, but how to lovingly replace it with gentler, wiser choices that still allow us to thrive in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. As a Shaolin monk healer, I've made it my life's work to bridge the best of Eastern wisdom with modern Western science. It isn't about living timidly, but rather living harmoniously, where each breath and movement supports the well-being of our entire body, especially that steadfast beating heart that has carried us this far. While it may feel disheartening to learn that some exercises must be set aside, it also brings an invitation to open the door to new, more mindful ways of staying active and vibrant. I'd like to share 5 popular exercises or habits that can be secretly harsh on your heart. But more importantly, I will also explain why they're risky and offer an alternative path that strengthens rather than damages. If you find yourself thinking, "I do that one," be kind to yourself. We've all done our best with the knowledge we had at the time. And from here, we can make more informed and heart-friendly choices. Before we begin, if you discover something valuable in our conversation, I invite you to let me know in the comments. If it resonates deeply, perhaps type the number 1. And if it leaves you uncertain or wanting something different, feel free to type 0. Your honest thoughts help me understand what truly assists you on your wellness path. And if you feel comfortable doing so, subscribing to this channel ensures you won't miss future insights that might help you or someone you love. In the quiet hush of dawn, it's not uncommon to see neighbors jogging past in short, intense bursts. They call it HIIT, high-intensity interval training. The premise is simple. Push your body to the extreme for a short stint, catch your breath briefly, then do it again. Indeed, it can yield swift results for younger people seeking to burn calories or push boundaries. But I recall an older student, well into his late 60s, who threw himself into HIIT after seeing how efficient it was for a friend half his age. He felt fine initially, a satisfying burn in his lungs, a slick sheen of sweat that made him proud. Yet, by the 3rd week, his heart rhythms became erratic, culminating in a frightening episode one evening when he felt as though an invisible band was tightening across his chest. He came to me pale and shaken, asking, "What did I do wrong?" I was only trying to stay young. That is the hidden peril of workouts that force your heart to race at extremes. As we age, the heart becomes less forgiving of sudden spikes in demand. Silent conditions such as minor arterial stiffness or slight blockages can turn a brief burst of intensity into a dangerous overstrain. You might not feel the warning in the moment. Instead, it can surface hours later in the form of palpitations, mild chest pains, or unexpected exhaustion that lingers into the next day. Does that mean we must all abandon any fast-paced movement? Not necessarily. But it does mean we approach velocity with deep respect. Instead of all-out sprints that leave you gasping, try intervals at a moderate pace. If you're walking, you might gently speed up for 15 seconds, then slow down and recover for 30 seconds, noticing how your heart responds. The goal is to remain in a zone where your breath quickens but doesn't become panicked. This approach can keep the circulatory system engaged without hurling it into distress. Pause for a moment and ask yourself, have you felt your heart pounding uncomfortably in your chest during or after exercise recently? Was there a point where you questioned if you'd pushed a bit too hard? If so, consider that your heart may be softly pleading for a gentler tempo, one that promotes longevity instead of challenging it at every turn. Now let's take a brief shift into humor to lighten the mood. I remember an older gentleman who joked with me, "If I wanted my heart to pound like crazy, I'd watch a suspense movie, not run up a hill." Though he laughed, there was wisdom behind that quip. Speed and drama can have their place, but our bodies deserve kindness and care, especially when we're older. Next, let's consider the world of strength exercises. Many of us have seen fitness gurus urging us to do endless crunches and sit-ups or to lift heavier and heavier weights. There's nothing wrong with building muscle. In fact, it's essential to maintain strength as we age. But I recall one woman who desperately wanted to combat osteoporosis. She fixated on intense core work, sometimes doing crunches until her face flushed red. Unbeknownst to her, these straining motions spiked her blood pressure. During a routine checkup, she discovered an arrhythmia that alarmed her doctor. She came to me in tears saying, "All I did was follow the videos online. Why is my heart paying the price?" The answer lies in the intrathoracic and abdominal pressure that accumulates when we forcefully strain. Think of it like tightening a drum's head. That pressure pushes inward on your heart, forcing it to work extra hard to circulate blood. For some, that might just result in discomfort. For others, especially with pre-existing conditions, it can trigger events like fainting or damaging spikes in blood pressure. Does that mean we skip strengthening our core or building muscle? Not at all. It simply means we swap those aggressive crunches for safer approaches. One friend found relief by using gentle plank variations on her knees, focusing on steady breathing rather than forceful breath-holding exertion. Resistance bands also offer a balanced way to build muscle, distributing tension in a more controlled manner than heavy weights that demand you to hold your breath mid-lift. Exhale during effort. Keep your movements smooth and aligned with your breath. Take a quiet moment to reflect. When was the last time you noticed your face getting hot or your breath halting while lifting something? Perhaps you found yourself bearing down with great intensity. That might be a sign to scale back or modify. A mindful approach to strength means listening to your heart's quieter voice instead of letting external pressures push you beyond safe limits. Years ago, I watched a senior neighbor attempt an outdoor workout on a blisteringly hot afternoon. "Got to get my steps in?" she insisted with a grin, ignoring my gentle suggestion to wait until the cooler evening air. Halfway through, she wobbled, and fortunately I was close by to help her sit down. Her heart felt like a hammer in her chest. It took quite a while for her to recover. In the aftermath, she admitted she hadn't realized how drastically the extreme heat would affect her. Similarly, a grandfather once told me how he decided to take a brisk walk on a freezing winter morning. He reasoned that cold air was fresh air, which might be invigorating. But the chilly temperatures caused his blood vessels to constrict, leading to a sudden spike in his blood pressure. By the time he returned home, his heart was racing and he felt disoriented. "I've walked these streets for years," he said. "I never expected the cold itself would be a threat." Temperature extremes, hot or cold, can seriously challenge our cardiovascular system after 60. Our bodies don't regulate internal temperatures as efficiently as they once did. When it's cold, arteries constrict to preserve warmth, upping the workload on your heart. When it's scorching, your body tries to cool itself by sending more blood to the skin surface, forcing the heart to beat faster and risking dehydration. Either extreme can tip a delicate balance into dangerous territory. Does that mean we must stay indoors all the time, hidden from nature's changing moods? Certainly not. But it does mean choosing your moments more carefully. On hot days, an early morning or late evening stroll might serve you better. On cold days, either dress in layers that you can adjust or opt for an indoor setting, maybe a mall walk or a gentle treadmill session if that suits you. Let's take a slight detour into a quick story to illustrate an important truth. A dear friend once wore 5 layers of clothing to jog in the winter, proclaiming he looked like a rolled-up comforter. We laughed together, but his comedic layering strategy kept him warm enough that his heart never had to strain in the bitter cold. He recognized that it's not about looking stylish or impressive, but about protecting the body's precious systems. Now, let's shift gears. There's an old saying in many martial arts: slow is smooth and smooth is fast. While this mantra might serve well in training forms, many seniors are tempted by flashy exercise routines that demand swift, forceful movements, whether it's jumping jacks, fast aerobics, or plyometrics. I recall a close relative who tried a high-energy dance class that involved jumps and spins, set to catchy music. The group was cheerful, but her heart had a different opinion. Just minutes into the session, her heart pounded so forcefully that she became dizzy, nearly toppling over. As we age, the body's internal wiring for balance, vascular response, and oxygen supply can lag behind the pace of these abrupt, forceful moves. This mismatch can lead to sudden dips in blood pressure or spikes in heart rate that leave us nauseated or gasping. Have you ever attempted a quick leap or twist and found yourself disoriented? That's your body quietly informing you that it no longer enjoys such abrupt demands. Instead, consider slower flowing activities that still engage muscles but without sending shock waves through your cardiovascular system. Tai Chi, for instance, is a moving meditation, merging breath with gentle shifts in weight. It may look graceful and mild, yet it thoroughly engages your legs, torso, and arms while keeping the heart calm and supported. If dance calls to your spirit, try a slower variety, perhaps a gentle waltz or a low-impact class where the tempo won't leave you breathless in seconds. Let's pause for a reflective question. Do we sometimes push ourselves into fast, jarring movements because we think that's the only way to stay truly active? Perhaps we can shift that mindset, recognizing that a slow, deliberate approach can be equally, if not more, beneficial, offering real gains in balance and heart health. In a lighter moment, a friend from my local community used to joke, "I can't jump high, but I sure can shuffle with style." He performed a gentle sidestep shuffle for exercise, grinning ear to ear. That shuffle kept him moving without overloading his heart. He embraced his limitations with humor, understanding that success lies in consistency, not showy leaps. Finally, there's one more hidden danger that often sneaks up in the glow of late evening. Picture this scenario. You finish a hearty dinner, watch a bit of television, and then remember you haven't done your daily workout. Perhaps you pull out an exercise mat or hop on a bike in the quiet of your living room. It seems responsible, fitting exercise in whenever you can. But for seniors especially, nighttime exercise can inadvertently rob the heart of the precious rest it needs. One older student of mine made a habit of doing brisk walking on a treadmill right before bed. She'd do 20 minutes at a fast pace, feeling accomplished but also sweaty and alert. Then, she'd lie in bed, heart still thumping, mind too wired for sleep. Over time, her sleep grew restless, and she woke feeling more tired than before. Ironically, her heart health began to suffer because her body never got the deep restorative slumber crucial for cellular repair, stress hormone regulation, and memory consolidation. If we compromise our nighttime rest, we compromise our heart's chance to reset and heal. Chronic sleep deprivation can increase blood pressure, encourage inflammation, and even lead to irregular heart rhythms. This is the subtle sabotage of late-night exercise. It doesn't strike all at once. Rather, it gnaws gradually, wearing you down. So, how can you avoid this? Well, imagine carving out a gentle routine in the morning, or at least in the early afternoon, leaving the twilight hours as a sacred time to wind down. If evenings are truly the only window you have, aim for something calm like light stretching, relaxed yoga, or a short, peaceful walk. Keep it short, keep it slow, and pay attention to whether it amps you up or soothes you down. Let's let that sink in. Are there moments when we rush through the day, ignoring the quiet call to slow down, all because we believe we have to exercise? Yes, movement is vital, but so is rest. Balancing both in sync with our natural rhythms can be a gift, not just to our hearts, but to our minds and spirits. At this juncture, you might be thinking, I'm over 60, so where does that leave me? Am I doomed to watch from the sidelines? Absolutely not. There's a marvelous world of gentle yet potent exercise out there. Low-impact aerobics, swimming with a calm stroke or mild water aerobics, yoga adapted for older bodies, mindful walking, or even Qigong, a cousin of Tai Chi that focuses on flowing energy through the body. The key is to move in ways that bring your heart into a comfortable dance, rather than forcing it into a stressful sprint. Let's share another small memory. A woman in her 70s came to me lamenting she couldn't keep up with her daughter's workout routine. She felt guilty and inadequate. After some discussion, we replaced her daughter's intense workout with daily morning Qigong sessions by a sunlit window, along with moderate walks in the early evening. Not only did her heart health markers improve after several months, but she reported feeling more energized, more peaceful, and less anxious than she had in years. Breathing might sound almost too simple, yet it's an underappreciated ally. Conscious, measured breathing can anchor the heart rate. It oxygenates blood more effectively and calms the nervous system. Before beginning any movement, consider 3 slow, deep breaths. On the inhale, imagine drawing in fresh, healing energy. On the exhale, release tension and worry. This practice tunes both body and mind for gentler exercise and can help you notice if your heart is feeling overly taxed. Let us pause for a deeper reflection. Are we truly listening to these subtle signals? Or do we override them with external expectations? Like a voice in our head that says, "Come on, you should be able to do more at your age," If you hear that voice, treat it with compassion, but also with resolve. Remind it that your body has unique needs now, and it deserves the kindness in how you pursue fitness. At times I've heard seniors say, "I just want to do it all, to feel young again." There's nothing wrong with longing for the vigor of youth. Yet, a fulfilling life in later years can look different from youthful intensity. It can be marked by resilience, adaptability, and an internal wisdom that guides each action. The heart doesn't demand extremes, it thrives on balance and consistency. Now, I would like to gently extend a heartfelt invitation. If these words have touched you, if you sense a shift in how you view exercise and your heart, would you be kind enough to share that in the comments? Perhaps simply type 1 if this perspective resonates, or 0 if you're uncertain. This channel aims to serve you, to uplift you in your journey. Let's revisit the stories at the beginning. The proud grandfather who collapsed after unwittingly overstraining with high-intensity routines. The older woman determined to eradicate osteoporosis with forceful ab crunches, only to discover her heart was paying a steep price. These real, poignant accounts remind us that our hearts, while mighty and persistent, become more vulnerable to sudden stresses with time. They're also a testament to the fact that none of us are alone in this. Many seniors walk a similar path, carrying good intentions yet lacking the gentle guidance to adapt those intentions to their changing bodies. Listen to that loyal heart of yours. Let these lessons open a door to new habits and wise choices. If you're used to high-intensity intervals, shift to something more moderate. If you have been holding your breath during heavy lifting, lighten that load or switch to resistance bands. If you have tried braving harsh weather, move indoors or dress more strategically. If you have jumped or jerked your body in fast aerobics, pivot to fluid, slower movements. And if you've been exercising late at night, give your heart the gift of earlier gentle activity and restful evenings. Take a moment to picture that in your mind. A life where you arise in the morning, greet the day with gratitude, and engage in a practice that leaves you both invigorated and at peace, rather than exhausted or uneasy. You go about your daily tasks feeling supported by your own body rather than fighting against it. As dusk settles, you slip into a calm evening, letting your heart prepare for the deep restorative sleep it yearns for. This, my friends, is the essence of living in harmony with age and wellness. It's not about giving up on activity. It's about doing it smarter, kinder, and with an open ear to the signals within. If you've reached this point and feel a spark of hope or clarity, I ask one small favor. Think of a loved one, a spouse, sibling, or a dear friend, who might also be caught in the trap of exercises that harm, instead of exercises that heal. Perhaps share this message with them. Sometimes a single piece of guidance is all it takes to avert a major strain on the heart. It's worth noting we're all wonderfully different in our medical histories and current capabilities. A warm reminder: these reflections are general insights. It's always prudent to talk with a trusted healthcare provider if you have concerns, especially when making significant changes to your routine. Now let's circle back to that moment I described at the very start. Standing partway up a flight of stairs, noticing your heart laboring in an unexpected way. That moment can be a gift, a gentle nudge from your body to reassess, to treat your heart not as an afterthought, but as the wise companion that has traveled every step of life with you. As a Shaolin monk healer, I've long believed that by honoring what we are feeling, physically, emotionally, and spiritually, we begin to cultivate real, lasting vitality. You needn't prove your worth by pushing your body to extremes. Instead, let your mature years be guided by something deeper than raw exertion. a mindful approach, a respect for the natural shifts that come with time, and a dedication to creating a supportive environment for your heart each day. Indeed, longevity and vibrancy can be ours when we embrace the age-appropriate methods that let us flourish without fear. In a final note of encouragement, I believe wholeheartedly that each of us holds the power to adapt and find our place of balance. Even if we've made missteps along the way, and haven't we all, it's never too late to recalibrate. Adjust your pace, refine your routine, listen more than you force. In that approach lies a profound wisdom, and, I dare say, a deeper sense of peace. As we draw to a close, I'd love to hear one insight you might carry forward from this conversation. Perhaps type it out in the comments and let us create a circle of shared learning. For those of you finding real value in these discussions, consider subscribing and turning on notifications. We're building a community of seniors who support and inspire one another to live well, guided by compassion for our bodies.